Good morning, YouTube. Today we're going to bring you along for another day in the life of running a used supercar dealership.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, and this is NG Supercars. This is our dealership. And we got some pretty cool cars, and actually it's the last day of 2024. Tomorrow is the new year, 2025, so we're going to talk about what we think is going to happen in 2025, how we did in 2024, and of course just how things are going in general and the daily grind. So we have an auction going on right now. I'm already missing it, so I'm going to jump on the computer in just a second. Got to take a look at that. Got to show you some projects that we're working on right now, some client cars. We actually don't have any cars of ours that we're working on for the moment, which is rare, but we got quite a few cars going in and out. This Lamborghini Gallardo is supposed to get picked up today. It's already sold and paid for, and it's going to get shipped to the new owner. They were originally going to come drive it, but as fate would have it, their flights got changed or canceled or something, so they couldn't make it out here. So they said, screw it, just ship it. So we're going to ship it out there to them. I think they're going to like this car a lot. This car, the 458, has a deposit on it for the second time. First deposit fell through. Second deposit, I think this guy's going to go for it. Quick little story about the purchaser of this car. He actually already owned a 458 for a while, not very long, and as fate would have it, he actually placed an order for an exhaust from us. The next day, he sends us an email, and he's like, you won't believe this, but can you cancel the exhaust order? Which we did because we hadn't submitted it to Klein yet. And that's the biggest bummer of it, is he was buying a Klein exhaust. It was going to sound so good. Well, he had to cancel the order because he was driving along his 458. Something went under the car and hit the engine, smashed through the engine block, punched a hole in it. It puked out all of its oil, and it caught on fire. So thankfully, he wasn't hurt. Obviously, the car was totaled, which really sucks. But so he said, hey, you guys have a 458. I'd like to buy it. So anyway, he bought this 458. We're going to get this 458 all set and cleaned up and listed on the website. We've had it for a few weeks, and we've just been working on it, trying to get it prepped for sale for you guys because it had sticky buttons, a saggy headliner, shrunken leather on the binnacle. So we took care of all those things. So now we just got to wash it up again and take pictures of it. And we also need to list that M Coupe over there, hiding down there. It's so small you can't barely see it. But we're going to get all that stuff going today, so it's going to be a busy, busy day. Oh, and you know what? We actually have a possible offer on this, no deposit, and we have a possible offer on the Grand Sport. Again, no deposit. So hopefully I'm supposed to get phone calls and emails about that to solidify those deals today. And if that's true, geez, we're going to have like barely any inventory left. So I need to go look at the auction and buy some stuff so you guys can buy some stuff from us. So also, we're hitting up people, and if you know anyone who's trying to sell a supercar, send an email to us. We'd appreciate it so we can make an offer. So at the moment, we've got two cars that are client cars being worked on. So this is our friend Greg's car. It's a 430 Scuderia, and we are putting in Capristo headers, and unfortunately, one of the studs snapped. Yay, super fun. So we ordered a tool to help us remove that stud. It isn't here yet. We just didn't want to mess around with that because that's a really not so great problem to have. That tool should be here today. So hopefully we'll get that sorted today. And then this is Fred's 308, and we are replacing the CV boots and rebuilding the CV axles with new grease and all that stuff. So it is the dirtiest, nastiest, most disgusting job you can possibly imagine. Absolutely gross. Grease everywhere. Crap everywhere, just bleh. Alan has been working with us, so if you don't know, we actually got a guy who's helping us out do wrenching stuff now. His name is Alan, so you'll be seeing him in more videos. At the moment, he's just kind of part-time / as needed. We'll see how that goes and how much business we get, right? So it's kind of dependent on those things. If we get more business, you'll probably be seeing him more. But yeah, he's rebuilding these guys, and I don't envy him right now. It's not a job that I want to do. This thing's pretty gross under here. So yeah, it's been flinging grease everywhere since this, like literally every single CV boot was completely disintegrated. They're just gone. Still waiting to hear back on these cars. So we'll see if we get these cars sold before the end of the year or not. Probably not. It's my guess. Probably not. Oh, and looking at the auction, there's a couple cars of interest. So I'm sitting here trying to watch them. A couple Mustang GT350s, a GT350R. There's actually a McLaren 600 LT. We've been wanting to get one of those forever, but Those cars make me so nervous. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see. I'm not banking that we're gonna buy anything today. It's kind of a slim pickings day. Well, auctions concluded and zero buys again. We have a friend who's looking for a very specific, interesting Lamborghini, and we bid on it for him because actually one actually came up for auction today, but it went too high. Dang it! It would have been really, really cool to get that car.
It was a cool
It's
spec.
a really cool car, but oh well. Anywho, onward. All right, we decided to take a lunch today. A rare moment for us. Still working on the 308. I'm gonna go review the GT500. And so the G-Wagon did get paid for it, so it is officially sold. Bye-bye, G-Wagon. Still haven't heard from the Corvette guy, so still waiting on that. Not sure if he's gonna follow through. It's one of those where, like, I don't know. We'll see. He's all gun-ho. Yeah, I want to buy it. I'm gonna pay cash, and then radio silence. That's how it is sometimes. All right, YouTube. Well, it's the end of the day. It's like 5-something, and they never came and got the Gallardo. Hooray! Of course they didn't. And they gotta come get the G-Wagon, so that'll be on Thursday. Tomorrow, New Year's Day, not gonna work. I'm gonna actually take a day off. So we're still waiting to get the money for this, but we have paperwork out, so should be taken care of in the next day or two. He said he had to move around some money, so you know how it is. Sometimes if cash buyers need to, sell some stocks or move money out of one account to another, that's just how it is. Happy New Year. We'll see you guys in 2025. Doing lots of cool car stuff, so like, share, and subscribe. And of course, check out normalguysupercar.com and NG Supercars. We do appreciate your guys' support, and we'll see you in the new year. It's gonna be sweet.
The next day.
Happy New Year! Yay! It's 2025. Well, I bet you thought this video was over. No. We haven't talked about the things I mentioned at the beginning of the video, which is we need to talk about how we did this year and some of our hopes or goals or things we're trying to accomplish for 2025. But real quick before we get into all of that, again, still waiting on this Gallardo to get picked up. They did not pick it up. It's supposed to get picked up today. Same thing with the G-Wagon. The G-Wagon is supposed to get picked up today. Maybe. Oh, by the way, it's Thursday. So it is Thursday, the second day of the year. And if you didn't know, every Thursday we do a live stream at 8 p.m. Central. So if you happen to be awake, check it out. It's pretty fun. You can ask us all sorts of questions. And usually we have 3 or 4 of us, so you can get a variety of opinions. But it's pretty fun. So check that out. Let me sit down at the computer and pull up some data, and we can go over this year. Well, no, last year. And then we can talk about this year. All right, so I have data from 2024 pulled up on my computer. I'm not going to give you like exact numbers, but I'll give you some reasonably good numbers. So let's start off with the parts and services side. So the services side, we really didn't ramp up until late this year. So the first half of the year was pretty slow. We also had a big thing happen in 2024 for that side of the business, which is we switched over from using WooCommerce to Shopify. So that was a pretty substantial project. So our data is split between the two systems. So I'm gonna kind of give you I'll give you the data from WooCommerce first. So it looks like we had about 230 something orders, about $175,000 in sales. So not huge amount of money. The problem with that is the profit margin on that is probably like under 10%, especially once you factor in how much we pay in credit card fees and hosting stuff and whatever. Let's say we did really well and made 10%. That means we made like $17,000 in profit, which, okay, hey, I'm not gonna sneeze at that. Yeah, we paid over $6,000 for shipping. And hey, here's some cool thing. We saved you guys over $10,000 just in coupons. So that's kind of cool. So our NGS 10 discount saved you guys a pretty good amount of money. So then I don't remember the exact date that we switched over. I think it was around September. October is kind of when we switched over to the new system. So the new system, so Shopify, we did 100 and something orders, just a touch over 100 orders, and we did about $175,000 in sales, which is pretty interesting because that was only, let's say, September, October, November, December. So like 4-ish months, and we did basically as much money as the entire previous 3 quarters of a year. So that shows you the new system I think has a much better closing rate or whatever. Now, again, this system is saying that we saved you guys over $20,000 in that period of time, which makes sense because we did our Black Friday sale. So, hey, we saved our customers over $30,000 last year on parts and services and stuff. So that's kind of cool. Lots of shipping charges, lots of taxes, lots of fees. That whole side of the business, again, let's say, that's like a $350,000 of gross sales. So maybe 10%, so maybe $35,000 in profit. Probably not even that much. So, okay, but still, no complaints, right? The good news about that side of the business is got a lot of potential. So let's jump into my 2025 hopes for that side of the business real quick. So from the website, from the parts side specifically, we want to find someone to take over that part of the business. I would like to find someone who can, maybe not full-time, but at least part-time, add products to that system, take phone calls, answer emails, send out orders, deal with that whole thing, and grow it. That's the bigger thing. I want someone who can grow that side of the business. This person might have to know some stuff about marketing and social media. Obviously, they would work with me in tandem in creating YouTube content that maybe promotes more stuff. So that would be great to get that side of the business going. We've had the parts side of the business do almost $1 million in sales before, so I'd like to get it up to that point in 2025. I think it's entirely possible that we can get it to $1 million in sales. I don't see any reason why we can't. So that's kind of my goal for that part of the company is let's do $1 million in parts sales. Now, the service side of the business, which some of it kind of runs through the website, that side of the business I think is going to explode this year. So it went from basically nothing last year to now this year we're going to start offering basic services, maintenance, oil changes, clutch replacements, installation of exhausts, brake jobs, that sort of stuff that we are very confident in our ability to do, and they're not very difficult, but sometimes they're, in my opinion, overly priced if you take it to a Ferrari dealership or something like that. So we want to start getting more into that side of the business. So if you've seen some of our other videos, you know that we have Alan on board now. He's helping us out kind of part-time. My hope is that we can get to where he's really busy, and I don't know if he can actually go full-time because he has his own company to run, but I would love to get it to where he's really busy. That'd be great. That side of the business, I think, also has a huge potential for growth in 2025. The only downside is that's very localized because, unless people want to ship their cars to us, which in some cases, if it's a very large project, then yes, it's actually probably cheaper to send your car and pay for the shipping and have us do it. But that's not always true. And obviously, a huge component of that is manual conversions. We are doing manual conversions. We've done quite a few this year, and I suspect we'll do a lot next year. So I would love it if we were doing like 2 to 3 conversions a month. 4 would be perfect. If we could get to 4 conversions a month, because I think we can handle about 1 a week, because it seems like they take a few days to do it, but something always goes wrong. Probably have a hard time with doing more than 1 a week with the size of the facility we have. If we had more space, then yes, we could probably do more in that. Moving on to the dealership. So in 2022, which was our first year running the dealership, we sold about 22, I think we sold 22 cars, and we did a little under $3 million in revenue. Not bad, right? For our first year. Pretty decent. Our best month there, we had a few months where we didn't sell anything. Looks like the best month we had was almost just shy of $1 million in a month, which was September of that year. We sold 5 cars. Pretty cool. So unfortunately, I don't have good data on this year yet. We're still compiling that data, but I can kind of go through it. So here's the weird thing is one of our systems has partial data for last 2023, but has great data for 2024, and the other system has great data for 2023, but not for 2024. So they're flopped. It's not exactly apples to apples comparison, but so I don't have the total number of cars sold in 23 or 24, but it looks like we sold over 50 cars in 2024, and I know we didn't sell that many in 2023. So I think we sold closer to 30 cars, and I think we did about $6 million in revenue in 23. So 24 looks like it's going to be well over 7 million, probably 8 million. I don't, again, have great numbers on that. Actually, believe it or not, it looks like possibly one of our best months was November. We sold almost $1 million in cars in November, which is hard to believe. Yeah, so even this data is missing all of our December transactions. Definitely did better, which is great, and everything kind of grew. Things are heading the right track for the dealership. We had 2 really slow months in the was it August to September or September October? I can't remember now, where we did really poor. September October, I think, because no one wanted to do anything before the election. That's what it was. So, okay, hopefully this year we won't have that issue and it will just be a little bit smoother. But obviously, goals for 2025 is to continue to grow the dealership side. One of the big challenges of the dealership is having a good amount of inventory. I'd love to have 10 plus cars in stock all the time, but that's just not possible. It's really hard to find good supercars that aren't piles of crap that actually can make money. So the hardest part we have, the biggest challenge for the dealership, is just sourcing cars. We try not to buy too many cars at auction because there's way more risk. It's kind of funny because you don't even make as much money on those cars anyway, and they're higher risk. We've had more cars come in from the auction that stuff wasn't disclosed and we have to fix more stuff. Versus when we buy it from an individual, a lot of times the people are very transparent, or even if they're not, we might get the car at a better price, and so even though we might have to fix more things, it ends up being okay because we can fix the things ourselves. Now, if we were having to send the cars out, like if we bought a car from an individual and it had some issues and we had to send the car out and pay other people to fix the cars, we would definitely not be able to do as well as we are. There's just no way. And the unfortunate reality is pretty much every single car we buy needs something, whether it's something simple like sticky buttons, or it might need tires, oil changes, whatever, right? So we try and make sure that the cars are in a state that is what we would want if we were buying that car. We end up spending money and fixing things on pretty much everything. As far as what we're looking for, obviously supercars are still our primary focus, and Ferraris in particular are our bread and butter. We love the 430s and 458s and 360s. Those are pretty much our favorite cars. We know them the best of all the cars that we deal with. So for us, it's like sticking with what we know is always a good strategy because we can deal with those cars. And honestly, there's nothing that goes wrong on those cars that scares me that we couldn't fix. Even if we get a car that's a basket case, we can sort it. And I like that. Still want to buy more Lamborghinis and McLarens and Porsches, although Porsches have done really poorly for us, so I probably don't want to buy too many Porsches. We've been experimenting with some of these, what I'm going to call like normal sports cars, like Mustangs and Corvettes, and those have done pretty okay. So they don't make a ton of money because the problem is cars like that are so common that the margins are just really small. It's all about volume. You just got to sell tons and tons of them, right? So to make as much money on a good Ferrari deal for us, we'd probably have to sell 2 or 3 or even 4 Corvettes or Mustangs to make the same amount of money. But the risk is smaller because generally speaking, those cars are not having weird crap go wrong or hidden stuff. People don't hide as much crap. I feel like it's just kind of there. It is what it is, right? Like I feel like with the Ferrari world, there's so much unknown and risk and whatever that it's a lot scarier. The risk is certainly higher dealing with the supercars than it is with the quote-unquote regular cars, but for every 10 cars you buy, you're probably going to have at least one that takes a loss, but the good news is the 9 others make money. Of those 9, probably 7 do just kind of okay, and 2 will be really good, where you make a pretty good amount of money. Obviously, if we could find more of those 2 cars that do really good, we would, but it's just not that simple. A little bit of it, so you're still at the mercy of the market. I feel like right now we're still in this weird place where there's a lot of cars still at COVID pricing that are starting to come back down to reality. So I think the huge gap that we saw late in 24 is shrinking, and finally some of these cars are becoming more and more reasonable. Hopefully that means we'll have an easier time sourcing cars and getting some cool stuff that you guys want to buy from us. 458s, 430s, 360s, we're always looking for, we're always trying to buy. If you happen to know anyone selling one of those, send them our way. We'd love that. So it was a good year. It was a tough year. We had some hard moments, but I'm hoping to grow the business and grow that, both sides of the business, the parts and services and the dealership side. So if we can do that, that'd be wonderful. Some reaching goals or extended goals would be, I would love the company to get to a point where I can take a week off for the first time in years and not have to check my phone. I would love it to where we're doing so well and not worry about like the money of the company and stuff like that. I want a week off vacation. That's my goal for myself. As far as growth, I would like to grow the company to be over 10 million. I think it's completely reasonable to say we can do over 10 million in car sales, in revenue, not obviously profit. And I'd love to get the profit margins to be higher. That would be wonderful. What does that mean? Does that mean eventually we might have to get some more help? Maybe, because Josh and I get spread thin. That's the hardest thing about all of this, is that it's just been Josh and I this whole time. So we work a lot. I mean, I pretty much work 7 days a week. I don't work full days on weekends, but I can guarantee you that pretty much I work every single day of the week, almost every single day of the year. And it might even be something as simple as just answering a few emails, but I guarantee you I'm working. And that's part of why I need someone to help out with the parts and services side. So if I can have someone helping in that sort of stuff, I can probably bucket my time a little better to where I can focus on one thing and then one thing and then one thing, and kind of I'm already trying to do that more and more, where it's like I only will answer emails and do certain things during certain times, and I try and do it in a block. So the hard part is with the car sales, I get random text messages and DMs and stuff at weird hours. So I might be sitting in bed about to fall asleep and someone messages me at like 10:30 at night saying, hey, I want to buy this car. So you hate to not respond immediately, because it could, be where they lose interest or they find another car or whatever. So you want to obviously get that while you can. So I would love for that side of the business to become someone else's responsibility, to not have to answer those texts and DMs at like 11 o'clock at night. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. So that's kind of stuff that's too important to offload to someone else yet, in my opinion. So that's really what it comes down to, is can I offload work that is important, but it's not necessarily the best use of my time onto other people's time. So that's where I'd like to get. So I think for sure, besides Alan coming in, you're probably going to see at least one more person participating in the company. Ideally, I would love to have someone helping out with social media, even if it's a part-time job, because I think there's a lot of stuff that I'm not very good at. So like short videos, Instagram pictures, I would love to have help with. So anyway, if you happen to be in the area and you're interested in just experimenting with trying some of this stuff and maybe growing your career, reach out to us, send us an email. We can discuss maybe if there's something that we could do together. But obviously we would need someone in person for a lot of these roles. So yeah, that's where we're at for 2025. It's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm optimistic.
Well, it's like 5:30, wrapping up the end of the day. G-Wagon did not go out today. The Gallardo did though. So we just kind of double checked, making sure everything was fine, ready for the new owner. Cleaning up some stuff on the Testarossa, got the axle shafts apart, so they're being rebuilt. We had to order parts because one of them blew up when we were having it pressed out. 40-year-old parts, what can you expect? We do have the tool for that, but we didn't get to it, so we'll get to that in another day. Actually, we're doing a video of that anyway, so. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Check out normalguysupercar.com. They're going to buy parts and services from us. Use the code NGS10. Hooks you up with 10% off. And go check out NG Supercars, our dealership website. We do appreciate when you guys can support us by buying parts and services and cars. But we'll see you in the next one. We're going to be doing a lot of cool car stuff. You're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.